estimation that Dr. Stankus will be here by 2?
2:15,
Okay,
what she said.
all right. And I'll ask Ms. Zoe. Ms. Zoe, do you anticipate that Ms. Wall's testimony will likely be concluded before noon?
Yes, Your
Okay, so then what I intend to do is to indicate to the jury that we would like them back at 2. And that way, in case anyone's running late, everyone will be here by 2:15. And hopefully Dr. Stankus will be here at that time and we can convene at 2:15. Any issue with proceeding that way? I don't want the jury to be here when we know they're not coming in at 1:30. Ms. Zoe?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cady?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry?
Agreed, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and bring the jury in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one thing,
Oh.
did you review the language of the instruction we proposed?
I apologize. Yes, I did, and it is very consistent with what I think I would have said had I done it myself, so I will read this as is. Thank you. You can have your witness go ahead and come into the courtroom, please. Please be seated. Members of the jury, at this time, we will continue with the presentation of evidence. Ms. Zoe, if you could call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, so I would like to call Lisa Wall.
Come forward, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
Please be seated. Ms. Zoe, you may inquire when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Fine, thank you.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Lisa Wall, W-A-H-L.
Are you currently employed, Ms. Wall?
I am.
How are you employed?
I'm a family nurse practitioner at Providence Abuse Intervention Center.
And what is a family nurse practitioner?
I'm an advanced registered nurse practitioner with the capacity to assess, diagnose, and treat.
Okay. And besides working at Providence Abuse Intervention Center, are you also on call sometimes at hospitals?
I am, as a forensic nurse examiner.
Okay. And which hospitals are you on call at?
Providence Centralia Emergency Department, Providence St. Peter Hospital Emergency Department, and at Madigan Emergency Department.
Okay. And besides being employed at Providence Abuse Intervention Center and then being on call at Providence Centralia, Providence St. Peter's Hospital, and Madigan, do you work at any other medical settings?
I do.
Okay, and where is that?
I'm a per diem registered nurse at Mason General Hospital.
Okay. Is that sort of weekday thing, weekend?
That is put my son through college thing, so that's my side hustle.
Okay, all right. And you indicated that you are an advanced registered nurse practitioner. What kind of, well, let me ask you this. Can you describe to the jury your education background?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the San Jose State University. I have a Master's Science in Nursing from the University of Alaska in Anchorage. I have a board certification through the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners, and as a nurse practitioner, a family nurse practitioner. And then I have board certification through the International Association of Forensic Nurses as a sexual assault nurse examiner, certified in both pediatrics as well as adolescence through adulthood.
Okay. And what is a advanced registered nurse practitioner?
I provide patient care through the context of the life trajectory, so from birth to death.
Okay. And then you indicated that you are currently employed at Providence Abuse Intervention Center. What is the Providence Abuse Intervention Center?
The Providence Abuse Intervention Center is within the Monarch Children's Justice Advocacy Center. We provide care to children under the age of 18 as well as developmental disabled adults when there's been a concern that there's been child abuse, neglect, or torture, or some combination therein.
Okay. And as part of the child abuse, that also could entail sexual abuse, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then what is a forensic nurse examiner?
A forensic nurse examiner is a registered nurse who has specialized training in the forensics field. So what that requires is training provided by, for me, the International Association of Forensic Nurses, wherein we provide medical care to the patient as well as evidence collection, which then bridges the patient care with the legal system.
Okay. And with regards to your responsibilities as a forensic nurse examiner, is your main responsibility still patient care?
Yes.
Okay. And when you're working in this, at the Providence Abuse Intervention Center as a family nurse practitioner, is your number one priority patient care?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of your responsibilities as a forensic nurse examiner, do you also have the ability to conduct strangulation exams?
I do.
Okay. And do you have any training or experience when it comes to conducting strangulation exams?
I do.
Okay. And if you could please tell the jury what that training is?
So for a forensic nurse to do forensic examinations on non-fatal strangulation issues, myself, I have taken trainings through the National Institute of Strangulation Prevention. They collaborate with the Department of Justice, Indian Health Services, National Institute of Health, these federal domains that work together to provide hourly, half-day, full-day, 3-day trainings on the clinical assessment, documentation, and care of strangulation involving children and adults.
Okay. And have you yourself conducted or performed any strangulation exams?
I have
Okay. And approximately how many?
dozens.
Okay. And then, as part of your responsibilities at Providence Abuse Intervention Center, do you sometimes provide follow-up care to children who may have underwent a strangulation episode?
I do.
Okay. And Ms. Wall, in the medical context, what is strangulation?
Strangulation has to do with the external compression of the neck which impedes airflow and or blood flow, which then can cause loss of consciousness, brain injury, and death.
Okay. And how you indicated that strangulation in the medical context is the external pressure that can impact to the neck, that can impact airflow. How would external pressure to the neck impact airflow based on your training experience?
When you press on the neck, you're pressing on your trachea, your windpipe. When you're pressing on that area of your body, your lungs aren't able to expand and to collect oxygen. When you're not able to oxygenate your blood, the blood flow to your brain is compromised. When you don't have enough oxygen to your body system, then you will die.
Okay. And when an individual does not have oxygenated blood flowing to their brain, can that impact their brain?
It can. Think of in our neck, we have arteries that pump oxygenated blood up to our brains, and then we have the jugular veins that bring deoxygenated blood from the brain back down into the body to reoxygenate through our lung systems. When we don't have that oxygenation provided to the brain, then we experience a host of health issues, primarily loss of consciousness. Once we've lost consciousness and that compression continues, these muscles in our neck relax and the compression is much more easier. If the strangulation doesn't stop immediately, you'll experience brain injury and death.
And I would just indicate for the record that the witness, while testifying, is using her hands to describe the things that she is talking about related to the neck and head.
Okay. And in this case, do you recall seeing a patient by the name of Fatima Ali on October 30th of 2024?
I do.
Okay, and where did you see Miss Ali?
At the Providence Abuse Intervention Center.
Okay, and then who referred her to your care?
She was referred to our clinic following hospitalization at Providence St. Peter Hospital as a result of complications due to strangulation.
Okay. And did you also, as part of your follow-up care with Fatima on October 30th, did you also document sort of your exam of Fatima in a report?
I did.
Okay. And as part of your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you sort of had to obtain some of information from her about her height and her weight?
I did.
Okay, and what was her height?
5 feet 1 inches tall.
Okay, and what was her weight?
100 pounds.
Okay. And were you also aware of an strangulation exam that was conducted by a forensic nurse examiner by the name of Synovia Rivas?
I was.
And prior to your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you review the report that was generated by Ms. Rivas?
I did.
Okay. And were you, did you also review the medical records from Providence St. Peter's Hospital as it relates to Fatima prior to your examination on October 30th?
I did.
Okay. And with regards to the diagnoses that she received, was pneumomediastinum one of the diagnoses?
It was.
Okay, and what is pneumomediastinum?
Pneumomediastinum is a big word. The mediastinum is here in your chest. It holds your heart, your trachea, your esophagus, and major blood vessels in this area. Pneumomediastinum means that there is air in the mediastinum that got there from say a medical incident. If you were intubated, it could have caused some sort of a blunt trauma injury or other means in which this air has escaped from your lungs or your airways somehow, and it's now in the mediastinum.
Okay. Now, this might sound like a silly question, Ms. Wall, but is air in the mediastinum a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a bad thing.
Okay. And also, prior to your examination of Fatima on October 30th, were you also, you indicated you reviewed the strangulation report that was prepared by Ms. Rivas. Were you aware of the signs and symptoms that Fatima exhibited during her admission into the ER on October 18th?
I was.
Okay. And when you met with Fatima on October 30th, what, if anything, did she say about any vision changes that she had since the alleged strangulation incident?
She said that her vision was more blurry.
Okay. And did she sort of explain to you in what way as to what she was able to see or she couldn't see?
Yes. In the process of a conversation with my patients, I ask in a head-to-toe manner a review of systems, so their health as they understand it from head to toe. And she indicated to me that she normally wears glasses. She didn't have access to her glasses, so that her vision baseline was blurry, but that since being strangled, her vision was, quote, more blurry.
Okay. And what about her hearing? Does she also indicate whether she had any hearing issues since the alleged strangulation incident?
Yeah, so she does not have hearing issues baseline. When she was describing her hearing, when I'm asking her questions about her hearing, she told me that it was, quote, more sensitive.
Okay. And you sort of mentioned baseline. What do you mean by baseline?
Baseline is prior to being assaulted.
Okay. And what's the importance of sort of establishing a patient's baseline?
To understand the potential consequences of the assault. So the baseline is their status quo, their normal health status prior to the events they experienced, what they experienced, the changes that happen, and any residua or lingering results from the trauma.
Okay. And did Fatima say anything to you about what her jaw was feeling?
Yes.
Okay, and what does she say about that specifically?
She told me how he had had her by her neck and her jaw, and that as a result, now when I'm seeing her now, that's a couple weeks later, I believe, since the trauma, that she had range of motion, but that she had to move slowly, because if she were to move too quickly, it would trigger a pain that she just didn't want to experience.
Okay. And after you examined, well, let me ask you another question. Does she, in addition to talking about her range of motion as it relates to her jaw, does she also talk about her range of motion in general when it comes to her neck?
Yes, we were referencing her neck and her jaw, and just this whole shoulder girdle area.
Okay. And after you examined Fatima on, at the end of your examination of Fatima on October 30th, did you also provide her with a patient care plan?
I did.
Okay. And then subsequent to October 30th of 2024, did you see Fatima again at the Abuse Intervention Center on December 5th?
I did.
Okay. And on December 5th, did she talk about whether she still had symptoms from the alleged strangulation incident?
She did. She talked about how when she got stressed, she would get left shoulder and neck pain. And when she got really stressed out, it would hurt, as she told me, quote, really bad,
Okay.
unquote.
And then on December 5th of 2024, at the end of your exam with Fatima, did you provide her with continued patient care plan?
I did.
Okay. No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple of questions.
Sorry, may I address you as Nurse Wall, or how would you prefer? Miss Wall?
That's fine.
Nurse Wall. Question regarding the jaw pain you just noted.
Yes.
You indicated earlier that a strangulation concerns the pressure on the throat or neck area, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so pain in the jaw would not be associated with pressure on the throat necessarily, correct?
Well, during it's not,
The pressure on the throat would not affect the jaw, right?
that could be referred pain. There could be
Okay.
lots of things.
Okay,
That's
could
not
be
a
lots
yes
of
or no.
things, okay. It could also have been caused by blunt force.
Correct.
Pain to withdraw. Okay, no further questions, thank you.
Mr. Larry, cross-examination.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry?
No, Your Honor.
You are excused. You may step down and you're free to go or stay however you so desire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the jury, as you may imagine, as we've been going through this process, there are many logistics in trial and witness schedules and the like. And today, again, we are recessing a little bit early before the noon hour. Also, I am not going to have you back until 2 this afternoon. The bailiff will tell you what that means so that you're in the jury room kind of ready to go at 2. And we'll continue with the presentation of evidence at that time. So you have a little longer today for your lunch break. Thank you so much, as always, truly, for your time and your attention. Please remember all of the instructions that I have given you in this case. We will see you after lunch. Please be seated. So if we start at 2:15 and are ready to go at 2:15, then that is 2.5 hours, I think, from 2:15 to 4:45. Realistically, I need to take a 10-minute recess in that time period to give the jury a break. So really, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Obviously, we go until a witness is done and she could be called back. I guess related to that, although I'm optimistic, because I like to be optimistic that we would conclude her testimony today. If we do not, when would she be called? When would you anticipate that we would call her back? Are you talking about trying to be in trial on Friday? I told you previously that I could, I don't know if the jurors can, but I can make that happen in my schedule. I know that she's traveling, and so I don't want to be worried about concluding her testimony and how we fit that in as we go along. Anyways, so I just want to hear from you, Mr. Kading, if you have thought about that. And again, I just want to talk about this so we have a plan, again, in hopes that we don't have, that we can conclude our testimony today.
And,
Your Honor, I did talk to her briefly this morning. Actually, I didn't talk to her. I was texting with her. She was trying to get on the airplane. I advised her that, you know, we're going to try to get her done today. She understands that she's now making herself late, and she indicated she would be available to testify as needed after that. She did tell me that she had another case in Alaska on Monday, so she would prefer to do that, but she said if she's in the middle of testimony here, that takes priority and she will stay. If we could do Friday, if it's going to be a few minutes, that would probably be good. She is scheduled to leave again tonight, but obviously that's subject to change. So she's very flexible at this point because of the situation as it's created. I anticipate we will be done in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
All right. What I would just ask, I expect actually that all of the lawyers have been talking about this issue, but if you would also just confer as to what you believe the best plan would be if we don't finish her testimony, whether we try for Friday or we have her Monday, or if you have something else. I'm completely open to trying to make this work between what the lawyers think works best, and of course then we have to make sure the jury is available if it ultimately were that she needed to appear tomorrow if we don't finish. I again will be optimistic that we conclude today. Any issues before we recess for our lunch break? Ms. Stone?
Only as to what the court was just talking about with the parties, the state will make whatever works for in-person testimony for Dr. Stankus work if for some reason we are not concluded today. So if that means tomorrow afternoon, I just need to know because I need to cancel a appointment that I've canceled multiple times, but it's fine. I just need to do that. So if we are able to get that information maybe from the bailiff at some point this afternoon, so when we leave today we know if that's going to be an option, because I need to make that call if that's the case.
All right. Mr. Kading, do you have anything further before we recess?
I do not.
Mr. Larry?
I may have missed, I assumed it was tomorrow morning, but given, what's the window the court would make available?
It would have to be in the afternoon. I have my civil motion calendar in the morning, so it could not be in the morning. I do have an administrative law review hearing scheduled at 1:30, although I can move that. I'd prefer to resume the trial at 1:30, and then I could move my ALR to later in the afternoon.
Okay, all right, that's helpful to know. Thank you.
And I think what I will, I don't want to, not that it necessarily would, but I don't want to stress the jury out if we don't need to, and that relates to them having to come on a time that they're not ready for. So we'll get to the afternoon recess, and then the parties can tell me where they really think we're at, and at that time I can have the bailiff ask them if we need to whether or not they would have any scheduling conflicts if they came back on Friday at 1:30 for up to an hour. All right. Okay. And I apologize, Mr. Larry, I don't recall, did I ask you if you had anything before we recessed?
Nothing additional.
Okay, we'll be in recess until 2:15. Thank you. All rise. Court's in recess.
He needs to get off of it! That's a dude!